Welcome to the bold analysis. I want to start by asking a question. For those who followed Kisii Rally, for today was a bit committed somewhere, so I didn't follow up. Live proceedings. What did you see? What can you look at from Kisii? Now on my end, I tried to comb maybe through the videos later, just to see what was the tone, what was the mood, and what played out. But earlier before Raila went to Gusii Stadium, this photo you are seeing in your screen emerged of heavy police presence that surrounded the stadium. So, and there was a scare that with that presence, that heavy police presence, it was going to scare away the population from it. Or rather, it was pointing to maybe a strategy that was being used to suppress the population from attending that rally. And I can tell you, being that that was a rural, a county, of course it's in a rural setup, and you saw that huge crowd overcoming, and like I wanted to watch this video scene here. These are people who are walking barabara heading to that place, and you can see the way that number is. I have been trying to ask some few journalists who are there whether there were people who are ferried by buses or no, and is categorically telling me that, Kevin, I did not see. In fact, we've not seen those videos of people being ferried by buses. And a rural country, in a rural environment, getting that number tells you something. And that is what I want us to look at. There was an attempt to suppress that rally, because one thing I can tell you is, while the state has been comfortable with the town rallies, the rural one, they will not want that messaging to get to the rural area. So I followed the speeches and something stood out. Emergence of Matian'gi and Simba Arati in Kisii politics.
Kuna wale wasaliti wengine walikuwa nasema Raila asikule Kisii. Mimi nisikuje Kisii. Si Kisii hapa ni nyumbani kwangu. Watu ambao mimi nimewasaidia, si mimi wajua. Anasema mimi nisikuje. Nililuida Simba Arati, nikuje nisikuje. Akaniambia mimi nikuje. Kwa fujo kabisa. Simekuja. Mwambie bwana Ungwai, kaa kimya bwana, kaa kimya. Poa.
Eti nasikia kuna watu walikuwa wanasema hakuna mkutano itafanyika. Mkutano ya nani itafanyika? Si ninyi ni wa Kisii hapa? Mkutano umefanyika ama haijafanyika?
Nataka kumwambia Ungwai, ile mambo alikuwa anaongea ati Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga asikanyage Kisii. Mwambie ile ni uchinga.
Kama tunafuata sheria, kwa nini Fred Matian'gi ahangaishwe kama yeye ni mhalifu? Matian'gi ni Mkenya, apewe heshima na sheria ifuatwe. Kama iko kitu anafuatilia, si walienda kotini wakanyimwa oda? Wangoje koti iamue kama wako na ruhusa au hawana ruhusa. Waliingia kwake bila ruhusa, wakavunja mlango, wakavunja mali yake. Kama mtu wa kiwango ya Fred Matian'gi hana usalama, wewe mwananchi uko na usalama?
Now, the author of that emergence are the ODM, the former governor, James Ongwae. Early in the week after Busia rally, James Ongwae wrote a very long letter and published in Twitter asking Raila not to attend there because they were planning to visit President William Ruto. And I think that's why, even because this rally was supposed to be on Monday, so Raila decided to postpone it to Friday because there was a lot of groundwork that was needed to be done. Now, later we realized that even the president never went there this week, and I don't think he's even going this weekend because he's out of the country. Maybe if he's going there to pray, we may have to know. Now, that animosity or that tabia, people who are trying to impress the president, now hitting Raila to impress the president, is working against him. Remember, like the governor of Kisii, tuambieni tu ukweli. I know people say that getting ODM ticket is you have to pay this, you have to pay that. But can you compare, even if you bribed your way to get the ODM ticket, can you compare the bribe that you pay, allegedly you believe you paid, and the fact that you rode on that ticket 2 good terms as a governor? Hata kama jamani, kuna zingine pia unafikiria, even if 2 terms as a governor, then Raila wanted to visit that place, then he was bringing all sorts of stories and like blocking Raila there. Unajua hata kama wazee jamani, unajua zingine pia unafikiria, hapa ulikuwa unafikiria aje? Surely. You know, sometimes I people normally suspend common sense so that they can please their masters. One thing that people, I think, I'll have to make on this is, while you want kufurahisha Ruto, wefurahisha tu Ruto, lakini don't do it with Raila, because at the end of the day, population is saying. Now, while Ruto is making inroads in different areas by the government appointments, there's new team seems to be reinventing new strikers, and that will help them to sustain their voting base moving forward. The biggest challenge remains on the development aspect, and that's why I say what will take Ruto to status again is the development. Without that, then they must prepare for a very strong battle. And I've always said, guys, Azimio lost by 200,000 votes. Mimi nasema tu, ngojeni tu, and it was compromised. A Baguzi nation would be, the Baguzi vote will be very complicated for President Ruto, or rather for the UDA, and they have to really work hard. There is a very delicate balance. You have a host of MPs and people around the State House that are telling you need to revisit Matian'gi because Matian'gi did this, Matian'gi did that. But then Matian'gi and Arati are emerging as the new factors. Ongwae, Osoro, and the new education CS Machogu are the other team that now is being propping around William Ruto, and Mtaani who are now becoming around William Ruto. While Machogu is a CS, but if you look at the gentleman, he's not more of a politician. He's the Magohas of our time. Actually, he's not more of a politician. He's more of a civil servant, and banking on him to speak on behalf of the Kisii vote is not very potent. And what we'll actually see is also that ministry is bedeviled by the CBC issue, by the CBC problem. So it's not really good, and it's not actually a political mobilizer compared to Arati. While Arati is a political mobilizer, Arati is a machinery you can trust and you can believe. If you have Arati on your end, Arati can deliver the Kisii vote, while Matian'gi will try to solve Nyamira. And remember, the other Omari, who is also eyeing an elective seat, comes from the other side of Nyamira. Now, I also saw, did you make this observation that Onyonka and Arati split played out? Richard Onyonka Vide won the Kisii Senate seat on ODM ticket, and he missed the event. However, that his absence was not point of contention. No one even spoke about it. So that split is there. If you look at the turnout in Kisii, you will actually understand why there was that plan to make sure that rally is suppressed. It's because of the Kisii vote and just a lot of it. But that magnitude, the number that came out, is revealing what, according to me, is the fact that the rural villages could be facing the pinch of the cost of living. You know, we've always been assuming that wale ambao wana complain kuhusu the high prices of goods are those people who are in the urban centers, people who are paying rent and buying this and buying that. And I can tell you that the pinch of the costs in the rural setup, hii kama mtu wa intelligence anasikia ambie state, is the cost of education. Niyo, si kitu ingine, ni hiyo. I think I have in my WhatsApp someone who was telling me, Kevin, and she watched my analysis on the education. I think I did some analysis on CBC, and she was telling me that yeye akona watoto watatu wako secondary school, akona 2 were supposed to be in junior, na anaishi na watoto wa some other sister. So ni kama akona 7 wanafaa join junior secondary. The others are supposed to go to the others are already 2 are already in secondary and 1 is already joining. So alikuwa niambia, Kevin, I have been forced to even convince someone not angoje nijipange. The burden of the cost of education, and I don't know why the Azimio team are not seeing it. If they can run with that, they are going to speak to the hearts of the people in the villages. Nairobi wameshazoea CBC haiko, but huko with the transition they are feeling the pinch of the CBC, and that's why I'm telling you that people turned up. Now the numbers that turned out there, if they're not mobilized, then why did they go? Just ask yourself, why did they go? The other thing is, I know political defections is a tradition, the practice we've had and we've normalized in our politics, and it's because of intentional and deliberate weak party policies or rather party democracy. Now these defections are meant to suppress the opposition. I'll one day look at that. Why probably even today, why these defections are not really akin to worry. Now from that, we've been really plotting defections. They're not affecting less impact on the Azimio rallies. If you've been engineering them, you know, Ongera, Ongwae, Maangi, Ruko, even now Onyonka, the senator, I think the senator is pro-Ruto, I've seen, but they're not deflating those rallies, as people will see, because the rallies now are not centered on leaders, but on the people. 3 is messaging on poll rigging is sinking. And I've always said, while there is no legal path for redress, there is no recourse, but the constant messaging and repeating that our victory was stolen, people are buying it, and they're now holding into it that our victory was stolen. This would actually yield a euphoria in the next election. Now, Ruto might be forced back to the campaign trail, because as government tries to roll out projects, and leaders who are pro-people are now angling for attention of the president, they're losing touch with the people. And the people might be swinging towards the other side. They may be going to south, while the state is going to north.